We are ranking the conferences here at the Voice of College Football, and to set up this video, let's head all the way out west to the mountains. And let's set up the matchup between the Mountain West and the Pac-12, because the Pac-12 has taken a beating, and rightfully so, because of their horrendous results during the 2021 season. And we know that these two conferences, meaning the Mountain West and the Pac-12, are frequent matchups during the non-conference schedule. They're close in proximity geographically. Therefore, many of the schools play during the regular season. Let's set the stage. 1 week prior to Oregon's trip to Columbus and upsetting Ohio State, the Ducks barely sweated out a win at home against Fresno State by one score and had to hold off the Bulldogs at the goal line. Fresno State later that month visited the Rose Bowl, was down a couple scores in the fourth quarter, and made a miraculous last-minute comeback to beat UCLA at the Rose Bowl. The mighty and strongest and most credible team as it concluded the 2021 season, of course, in the Pac-12 was Utah, blowing out Oregon twice in the Pac-12 championship game and a regular season game a few weeks earlier, and then testing Ohio State in the Rose Bowl. But even Utah, in matching up against San Diego State at the Mountain West, went down to defeat. In all told, the mighty Pac-12 of the Power 5 rankings won 5 games against the Mountain West, and the Mountain West 6 against the Pac-12. Let's break it all down right here at the Voice of College Football and our next video. And Mr. DH, Dennis Hattie, thank you so much for backing us up on our results. As I have noted many times to you, the math is not going to be perfect. The math is close enough that it is not going to matter in these individual videos. I will review the math and go back, and we will have one final video where we can compare the point totals, which will be verbatim perfectly to a T on the final video. Thank you so much for your help, though. Wink, wink. All right, let's go to the results of the Mountain West. The most impressive win for the Mountain West garnished 163 points, with Boise State, the 59th rated team in the country, at 7-5, defeating BYU, number 26. Other big wins for the Mountain West in this one. You've got the win by San Diego State that I mentioned, 27th ranked over number 12 Utah, the Pac-12 champion. Colorado State, number 114 team in the country, at 3-9, defeated Toledo. Pretty good bowl team, 7-6 out of the MAC. Northern Illinois won the MAC, but Wyoming beat them in the regular season, the 85th rated team in the country. You see some other 100-point games, and if you're not understanding the point totals, you got to go back to the first video and check out our system. New Mexico on the board despite a bad season. They knocked off New Mexico State. Mountain West actually pretty much took a tour of New Mexico, with New Mexico and other schools in the Mountain West all beating up on poor New Mexico State, the 127th ranked team in the country. Also, San Diego State with a big win in the bowl game against Texas San Antonio, number 31 in the country, came into that game at 12-1. You see the other wins over the Pac-12 with Nevada and Carson Strong over Cal, the 79th rated team in the country. Utah State, right out of the gate, knocked off Washington State in the opener. And then to conclude the season, Utah State with a win against Oregon State in the Jimmy Kimmel Los Angeles Bowl, and the Beavers at number 62 in the country. Other big wins for the Mountain West against the Power 5 include Air Force's bowl win against number 56 Louisville. You see that San Diego State also took care of Arizona, the 122nd ranked team in the country and probably the worst Power 5 team this side of Kansas. The Fresno State game that we talked about initially in defeating UCLA, a big game at the Rose Bowl for the Bulldogs over the Bruins in that one. And again, a ton of Pac-12 matchups as the Mountain West finished a very impressive 34-20 non-conference, 34-20, 8-12 against the Power 5. That again included 6-5 against the Pac-12. So then they were 2-7 against the other conferences. 17-6. This is going to be key. 17-6 against the other group of 5 conferences. So they won almost 75% of its games against like-seeded on their same tier conference teams. 9-2 against the FCS is to be expected. All right, so we set you up with the Mountain West victories. Again, 34-20 total, and the breakdown that you see right on the screen right now against the Power 5, the Group of 5, and the FCS. Now let's see how bad the losses were for the Mountain West Conference. Western Michigan defeating Nevada, not the best there, but a fairly like-seeded matchup, number 80 against number 66. Of course, the two FCS losses off the top are brutal, with Eastern Washington defeating UNLV and also South Dakota State over Colorado State. Vanderbilt defeated Colorado State as well, as you've got Oregon defeating Fresno State, but again, hey, that's a Fresno State team that goes to Oregon and only loses by a touchdown in a goal line stand at the end of the game. Army and Air Force, of course, a traditional rivalry, with Army winning that game over Air Force, BYU over Utah State as well. And on down the line, you see the many games as the Mountain West in total took on some pretty impressive foes all told. BYU, Army, Texas A&M, USC, Oregon, UCF, Oklahoma State in a win against Boise, Kansas State, Arizona State, Iowa State, Texas San Antonio, UCLA, Oregon State, Vandy, and a game in which Iowa defeated Colorado State. So the number 21 Hawkeyes, one of the highest ranked teams that the Mountain West Conference faced in 2021. Once again, we review the numbers. Wins and losses, 34-20, non-conference. 6-5 against the Pac-12. All told, 8-12 against the Power 5. That's a good record again for a Group of 5 conference. To go 8-12 against the Power 5 is strong. And that is backed up by the Group of 5 performance, because against the Sun Belt, the MAC, Conference USA, and the rest of the Group of 5, obviously American Conference included, and the Independents, a 17-6 record, although they did beat up on New Mexico State quite a few times in that total. 9-2 against the FCS is pretty much on par with what a Group of 5 conference should do. So if you add up the point totals on the positive side, you got 2,487 positive points. Deduct the losses of 2,086. You've got a total of 401 points for the Mountain West Conference. How does that stack up? Check out the other videos. We still have the American Conference and the Big Ten to go. We're going to release those videos soon. Of course, then we will do one final video. Clean up all the numbers, Dennis, and present it all to you. What the raw data tells us about the results from the 2021 season, and then my slant on it as well. Right here at the Voice of College Football. Please like the video, share these videos out on social media, subscribe right here at the Voice of College Football. Hit that bell for the notifications to know when we go live, which is constantly. We went live for 4.5 hours today right here on the main channel, right here at the Voice of College Football, and we will see you next time.